Welcome to the start of Northcutt Cut. As y'all know, I always name my projects, and this is going to be a camping sign that I'm going to be making for Steve and Janet Northcutt. And I just thought I'd put a little play on words. And obviously we got a thick slab of cedar here we're going to be working with, so hang on and we'll get right into it. All right, one of the things I'm fixing to do right now is I'm going to cut off from here to here, and I'm going to use this section in here. There's the lines that are also drawn right here, and this represents the edges of the sign, but I'm giving me some extra room out here, and I'm going to play with, kind of balance things out a little bit and stuff. So, but I want to go ahead and cut those off here and here, and then I'm going to run these through my planer and get us a nice smooth finish. And that's going to speed up preparation stuff. So hang on, we're going to get started on it, and this is going to be a little bit loud. So those of y'all who have not followed my channel before, not to worry, you don't have to turn your volume down because I'm going to pump some music in there for you. So hang on, we're going to make a couple of cuts. Man, that thing cuts through just like butter. Whew, and oh, my shop smells so good. So anyway, all right, let's move it over here. Now we're going to make the second cut, and this will be the part of the board that I'm going to be using. And this piece I'll use for other projects. So one more cut. All right. So again, God, it smells so good. Oh, Lord have mercy. So anyway, we're going to get to work on this, and I'll be right back with the next step. All right, that will be all we're going to have to do for the planing. All this stuff I can sand down, and we'll get it nice and smooth, and we'll bring that all out with the structure. But this is going to be the front, because I want to use the contrast in the grains of the wood. But to be honest with you, the back is just as pretty. I love working with cedar. You don't really get a ugly side, one side or the other. So anyway, I'm going to tear down and put up the planer, and then when I come back, we'll set up, we'll do some sanding and get the board to the smooth finish that I need to do the transfer, and then we'll get the decal applied, and we'll get some transferring done. So hang on, be right back. All right, what I've got is a 180 grit sandpaper on my random orbital sander. And I'm going to start on the back, and all I want to do is just kind of get this nice and smooth. And I use, it's called Klingspor, Klingspor, Klingspor brand of sanding disc. I'm not sponsored by them, but they're good enough. I don't mind giving them a shout out. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and do some sanding on this side, then we'll flip it over and we'll do the same thing on the other side on the front. So here we go. And just like that, we've got a nice smooth board. You'll notice that I didn't do a lot of swirling with the sander or anything like that. It's already doing a random pattern. Let it do the work. Exert just enough downward force on the sander to keep it under control. Don't press too hard. Let the sandpaper do the work. So we're going to flip it over. We're going to do the same thing on the front side. So here we go. Let's see. I don't know if y'all can see it, but right here, I have a little black line right here and a little bit of it right here. And what those are, and there's a little bit right here, those are snipes. And that's from the planer when the board was going in. It wasn't exactly flat, and when it came out, it dropped or lifted up, and you get an uneven cut when it goes through there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and switch over and to a little coarser grit, and I'm going to take that snipe out. So hang on, I'll be right back. Okay, I've changed over to an 80 grit, which is the coarsest grit that I ever use. And that's just going to let me take it down a little quicker, and then I'll come back up real quick with some of the finer grits to get us back up to the 180. So here we go. I don't know if y'all can tell, but this side, all the snipe is gone. This side over here, all I have is just a little bit right here, just a little bit right there. So I'm going to take that out with one more pass, and then we'll come back and we'll work it up to the smooth part. So here we go, one more time. All right, that is virtually gone. Enough of it's been removed that I don't have to worry about, just a little bit right there, but enough of that's been removed that I don't have to worry about using the coarse grit. So I'm going to go back with the 180 grit that I was using earlier, and we should have a really nice smooth board when we get through. So again, I'm using just enough pressure to hold control of the sander, going a nice, smooth, steady pace, and let the sander do the work. And just like that, the snipe is gone. We have a nice, smooth board. So hang on, when I come back, I'm gonna clean up the board and we'll attach the stencil, and then we'll get it laid out. So hang on, I'll be right back. Okay, to clean the board, I just simply used a lint-free towel and a little denatured alcohol, and just wiped it down and cleaned all the sawdust off of it. So I have the lines drawn perpendicular and parallel on the stencil, just for references, and it's not going to be easy to see them exactly because the stencil is going to actually hang over a little bit, but I've got an idea about where it's going to be, and I can get it reasonably close and not have to worry about being too far off, because if it is a little bit, I can always trim the board edges there. So okay, so now I'm really happy the way it is there. I can see the line coming here. Drop it just a little bit. I can see my line coming there, and I can see my line coming there. So I think we're good right there. And come across there, and that's pretty close to the center line. So is that. So I'm real happy where that's laying right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some tape. Thought I had already grabbed it. And but I'm just going to take some painter's tape. And what I want to do is I just want to anchor this side down right here so that it doesn't move on me. Okay, and then this is going to make it easier for me to go ahead and get this thing laid out. So all right, so the first thing I want to do is I want to remove the backing of the stencil. If I can get I don't have enough fingernails to do this sometimes. There we go. All right, so now what I want to do, I want to get this up far enough. Okay, peel it back just a little bit. Now what I want to do is I want to turn this over a little bit so that I've got enough to grab underneath of it, and I can pull with it. Now we're good and squared. We're still staying square. So now we're going to lay the stencil right back down. Right back down like that. Don't panic. You're okay. So now we know we're in a good spot. So let's take a quick measurement right quick. So we are, that is 3/4 of an inch away, and the larger one, we're at 3/4 of an inch away. So we're exactly in the center where we want to be. So now that I've got this side down, it's good and attached, I can go ahead and pull this tape up, get it out of the way. Now I can grab this underneath and I can just start pulling, and the stencil will lay down good and flat for me. And just take it a little bit at a time. Just take your time. And the stencil lays down. And by the way, I call this a bonus video. And the bonus is you don't have to see my ugly mug. Alright, so now we've got the stencil applied. So the next thing we want to do is from the center out, we want what's called burnishing. You're just pressing it down. You're not going to push it real hard, but you just want it adhere the stencil to the board. But you want to work from the center out. Okay. Normally I have a little squeegee that I use to do this with, but hey, in my brain I didn't think about bringing it out here with me today, so this will work. You just need something to put the pressure on and apply it good and stiff so to make sure it sticks. Okay, so I think we're good. So now the next thing we want to do is to go ahead and start pulling off the transfer tape, which is on the top side of the stencil. And that's going to reveal where I can spray and do my layout. And on this one, you want to make sure that you keep it flat so that you don't pull up the stencil. See how I'm pulling and keeping it flat on itself. If I pulled straight up, then I would pull the stencil off of the board, and we don't want to do that. So just keep working it down flat. And just take your time and see what this is. And this is giving me the areas where I want to spray my layout fluids so I'll know where to carve. And for you crafty people out there, this is done with a Cricut maker. Yes, a 67-year-old man has his own Cricut. And I love it. It's been a game changer for me and my signs. And I make decals for cars and things like that as well. So anyway, this has got our decal applied. Just like that. We're all good to go. And I'll just, not worried if that sticks or not, but just getting it out of the way. And so the next thing I'll do is I'll come back and I'll just tape off on this side over here, just so I don't get any of the ink that I'm going to be applying. I don't use a black paint. I use a black ink. It's marsh ink. And I like it because it doesn't bleed as easily as paint will. And dries a lot quicker. And it sands off really well. So I like to use the marsh ink. So just 3 little strips is all it takes, and we've got that side protected. Do the same thing right here. Put that down. Okay. All right, so now that's good. So when I come back, we will be applying the marsh ink, and I want to go ahead and prepare my table and get my mat off and get the other things cleaned up and put out of the way. But when I come back, we'll be applying the marsh ink all over the exposed area. Now, you're saying, but you can't tell what's the design of the fifth wheel. That's true. But I will come back and I'll draw those in, and then I'll do my carvings on those a little bit later. But I need to get the pattern of the fifth wheel in there first. So you'll see it's all going to come together, I promise. So hang on, be right back. Okay, this is what I use instead of black paint. It's marsh ink, and it's designed to stencil information on shipping pallets or boxes or whatnot. Anyway, so we just take a little light spray. You don't do it real heavy. Just a little light spray is all we got to do. Do it from a distance. You don't have to be right down on it. And again, I just want the outline of the coach. So I'm not going to be spraying in the center. Okay, and that's it. So we're going to let that dry, and then we'll come back when it's dry. We'll remove the stencil, and I'll know exactly where I want to carve. So this has been quite a bit for the day, so I'm going to call this a final segment for day one of Northcutt Cut. I love that name. But when I come back tomorrow, we will actually start the carving. I'll get the names cut out and whatever, and I'll explain how I'm going to do those. There's several different styles of carving, and I'll explain the style that I'm going to do for this one, and it will be really nice. I think it's going to look really good when it's all said and done. And then after I get the carving of all that done, then I'll get the layouts done for the coach, and I'll get the outline carved, and then I'll come back and I will draw out where I need to, and we'll do the painting of the coach, and we'll get this thing wrapped up fairly quick. So anyway, thanks a bunch for following me today. I appreciate y'all hanging around. If you would, don't forget to hit that like button and the subscribe button and the share button. And if you would, please leave me questions and comments. I will gladly answer every one of them, because you taking the time to watch the videos and leave me questions or comments means the world to me. I can't give you back the time that you spent watching, so I appreciate it very much. So I will see y'all real soon in video number 2 of Northcutt Cut. Thanks.